This is Tennessee Williams, author and playwright of The Glass Menagerie. The Glass Menagerie, written in 1944, was Williams' first big hit. The narrator and central character of the play is Tom Wingfield, an unhappy young man who lives with his mom and sister.
Tom plays an interesting role in the narrative as he dual roles, one as protagonist and the other as the narrator, whose perspective the show is told from.
Watch this scene from the 1987 movie adaptation of the play, where Tom introduces the rest of the characters.
The play is memory. Being a memory play, it is dimly lighted, it is sentimental, it is not realistic. In memory, everything seems to happen to music. That explains the fiddle in the wings. I am the narrator of the play and also a character in it. The other characters are my mother Amanda, my sister Laura, and a gentleman caller who appears in the final scenes. He is the most realistic character in the play, being an emissary from a world of reality that we were somehow set apart from. But since I have a poet's weakness for symbols, I use this character also as a symbol. He is the long-delayed, but always expected something that we live for. There is a fifth character in the play, but he only appears in this larger-than life-size photograph. This is my father, who left us a long time ago. He was a telephone man who fell in love with long distances. He gave up his job with the telephone company and skipped the light fantastic out of town. The last we heard of him was a picture postcard from Mazatlan on the Pacific coast of Mexico containing a message of 2 words: hello, goodbye, and no address.
The core of the play is its characters. They are the main driving force for the plot, and they create the conflict. From the first scene, the audience is shown this when they are thrown into the middle of a conflict between Tom and Amanda. We open on the family dealing with the absence of their father that is clearly influencing them all. Amanda is trying to act as if she is the person she was before she met their father. And Tom is getting frustrated with his mother's antics, whilst Laura tries to mediate between them. It ends with Amanda chastising Tom for his dinner etiquette, causing Tom to leave. This conflict is a great introduction to the dynamics between the 3 leads. Tom as the dreamer who wants to escape, Amanda as the stern traditional mother, and Laura as the timid mediator. It also introduces us to the invisible but influential character of Mr. Wingfield. All we know about Mr. Wingfield is what Amanda so callously chooses to share. He was an alcoholic who married Amanda, then left some time after, never to return to the family he had created with her. But Mr. Wingfield seems to have left a lurking presence in the apartment of his family. Amanda is the stern, classical mother of the 30s. She needs to control her children so that they can become what she wants them to become.
Laura, honey, I know so well what happens to unmarried women who are not prepared to occupy a position in life.
At the same time, though, her control drives them away from her traditional models.
Mother, please go busy yourself with something else. I'm trying
Sit
to...
up straight.
She brings enmity between her and her children little by little. Amanda's quest is to see her kids become successful and useful in society, and her fear, in terms of the small memory we're shown, is that Tom will become his father.
What, Mother?
Will you promise me that you won't ever become a drunkard?
I promise I'll never become a drunkard, Mother.
Laura, on the other hand, is a young girl in a woman's body. It is made clear from the start that she is disabled in some physical capacity. She seems to let this disability keep her back from trying new things and prefers to stay in the comfort of her own home. Laura is the reason the show receives its name. Her hobby is playing with glass figures in the shape of animals. The menagerie can obviously represent many things, and Laura is one that projects its meaning. The most apparent meaning is that the menagerie is Laura's escape from her unsatisfying life. Laura and Amanda's relationship is about control. Amanda seeks to control every aspect of Laura's life so she can become something great, like Amanda seems to think she has become herself. She relives her own youth through Laura, and because of this, Laura doesn't desire to live her own life. Amanda's control leads Laura to living life with her glass animals.
Keep yourself fresh and pretty, because it's almost time for our gentlemen callers to start arriving. Now, how many of you think we gonna entertain today?
I don't believe that we'll be receiving any, Mother.
Not any? No one? Oh, you must be joking. Not one single gentleman caller? What's the matter? Has there been a flood or a tornado?
It's not a flood. It's not a tornado, Mother. I'm just not popular like you were in Blue Mountain. Mother's afraid I'm going to be an old maid.
The show gets interesting, watching the characters create conflict and observing how the conflict affects the characters. This next clip is from the 1973 TV movie The Glass Menagerie. Amanda starts to pressure Tom about what he's doing with his life, especially with what he does after work.
What's the matter with you? Have you gone out of your senses?
I have, that's true. You've driven me out of it.
What's the matter with you lately, you big idiot?
Look, Mother, I've got no single thing in my life here that I can call my own.
Lower your voice.
Yesterday you confiscated my books.
Yes, I did. I took that horrible novel back to the library, that awful book by that insane Mr. Lawrence. I cannot control the output of a diseased mind or people who cater to them. And I won't allow such filth in my house. No.
Look, Mother.
How do you think we'd manage?
You think I'm crazy about the warehouse? You think I'm in love with the Continental Shoemakers? You think I want to spend 55 years of my life down there in that Celotex interior with fluorescent tubes? Honest to God, I'd rather somebody picked up a crowbar, batted out my brains than go back morning. But I go. Every time you come in yelling that goddamn rise and shine, I think to myself, how lucky dead people are. Don't grab at me.
I'm not grabbing at you. I just want to know where you're going.
I'm going to the movies.
I don't believe that lie.
I'm going to Opium Dance. Yes, Opium Dance. Dens of vice and criminals hangouts, Mother. I've joined the Hogan gang. I'm a hired assassin. I'll carry a Tommy gun around in a violin case. I run a string of cat houses down in the valley. They call me Killer Wingfield. I'm really leading a double life. By day, I'm a simple, honest warehouse worker, but at night, I become a dynamic czar of the underworld, Mother. I go to gambling casinos. I spin away fortunes on the roulette table. I wear a patch over one eye, false mustache. Sometimes I put on green whiskers. On those occasions, they call me El Diablo. Oh, I could tell you things that would make you sleepless. My enemies are planning to dynamite this place. They're gonna blow us all sky high some night. I'll be glad, very happy. So will you. You'll go up on a broomstick high over Blue Mountain with 17 gentlemen calling, "You ugly, babbling old witch!"
I'll never speak to you as long as you live until you apologize to me.
This conflict once again reiterates the insecurities that these characters carry. Amanda tries to be perfect and have everything appear like that for her fear of losing her children like she lost her husband. And Tom, being so over the drama with his mother, he fights back like he is fighting for his own life.
This scene also brings up the relationship between Tom and Laura. Tom and Laura's relationship is one of love and compassion. Tom cannot blame Laura for anything that she does because he knows what she goes through with their mother. She wishes the best for Tom and wants him to obey their mother, but at the same time wants him to become something great.
Tom eventually apologizes and Amanda confides in him. She's so worried about Laura, but she has an idea.
Down at the warehouse, aren't there some nice young men?
No.
Oh, there must be some. Just please find one who's clean living, who doesn't drink, and ask him out for sister.
What?
the sister, to meet, to get acquainted. Oh, will you? Will you? Will you? Will you, dear?
Yes.
The next conflict comes when Amanda is stressed about all the work that needs to be done, and she finds out Tom has invited James over for a dinner scheduled the next day.
He's coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
No, I can't do anything about tomorrow. I can't do anything about tomorrow.
Why not?
Don't give me any time.
Time for what?
Preparations. You should have called me the minute you invited him, the minute he accepted.
Mother, you don't have to make any fuss.
Of course I have to make a fuss. I can't have a man coming into a place that's all sloppy. It has to be thrown together properly.
This conflict throws a wrench into the dynamics of these characters by introducing James, who becomes the main stressor of the plot that drives it towards the climax. James seems to be the goal that Amanda has for her children: likable, successful, handsome, and happy. Having his presence loom over her doubles down on her insecurities.
We learn that Laura had a crush on James in high school, but didn't do anything about it because of her insecurities.
Laura plays music for Jim, and they start to dance about the room, bumping into furniture and breaking some of Laura's glass, though she doesn't seem to mind. The two obviously hit it off with one another.
Anyone ever tell you you were pretty? Well, you are. And in a different way from anyone else. And all the nicer because of the difference. Oh, I wish you were my sister. I'd teach you to have confidence in yourself. You see, being different is nothing to be ashamed of. Because other people, they're not such wonderful people. They're 100 times 1,000. You're 1 times 1. They walk all over the earth. You just stay here. They're common as weeds, but you, well, you're blue roses.
Blue is wrong for roses.
Well, it's right for you, because you're pretty.
In what respect am I pretty?
In all respects. Your eyes, your hair, your hands. Pretty. You think I'm saying this because I'm invited to dinner and have to be nice. I could do that. Oh, I could say lots of things without being sincere, but I'm talking to you sincerely. I happen to notice that you had this inferiority complex that keeps you from feeling comfortable with people. Well, somebody ought to build your confidence up. Way up. Somebody ought to make you proud instead of shy and turning away and blushing. Somebody ought to kiss you, Laura.
The moment is perfect until Jim reveals, nervously, that he is engaged to another woman. Just like the broken glass, Laura seems to be shattered by the revelation and might represent the last hope of a normal life being crushed for her.
Well. So our gentleman caller was engaged to be married.
Amanda blamed Tom for everything and accused him of living in a dream.
Just go on and go to the movies.
All right. I will. The more you shout about my selfishness to me, the quicker I will go. And I won't go to the movies either.
Go to the moon, you selfish dreamer!
Tom narrates the end of the show after he leaves. He talks about being fired from the warehouse for writing a poem on a shoebox. He then followed the footsteps of his father and leaves for good.
Tennessee Williams created a work of art. After seeing the play on Broadway in 1945, Lewis Nichols of the New York Times said, "Tennessee Williams' simple play forms the framework for some of the finest acting to be seen in many a day. The framework left by Williams is a story that lets the characters create the conflict and the conflict mold the characters."